Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and on this edition of Voices Big and Small, we're going to be talking about Ted Lewis, the New York-based voice actor, also known under the names of Ed Paul and Eddie Paulson. So here we go. So, of course, he was born in Bellingham, Massachusetts. Let's see, and he's been active from 1990 to the present. Let's see, more specifically, in terms of his date of birth. Let's take a look here. I was looking at this earlier. I said 19. He was okay. So actually, according to this reference, he was born in Brooklyn, New York, USA, on October 18th, 1969. So he's basically a New York-based voice actor. And I'll get to more of that in just a sec here, as soon as we get everything caught up. Okay, so Ted Lewis is an American voice actor who does work for 4K Media, which of course is the current version of 4Kids Media, Central Park Media, TAJ Productions, Do Art, Film, and Video, and NYAV Post. Primarily, he is involved with anime dub voice work and is best known as the voice of Bakura Ryo from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, as the voice of Tracy Sketchit from Pokemon, and also as Jack Atlas from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. He was one of the scriptwriters for Pokemon Chronicles. In 2018, Ted Lewis won two Behind the Voice Actor Role awards, both for Best Vocal Ensemble in an anime feature film special for Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions, and the one was a People's Choice Award. So, so that's basically at least some basic information about him. Um, let's go ahead and look to the specific credits he has. So at least one of the first roles in the anime dubbing side of it that we know of was in 1996, in which he was cast in the role of Eto in Record of Lotus War. Of course, he would later reprise that role. I'll get to that in a moment. He also in 1996 he was cast as Kazuya um, Hasukawa in the New York dub of Here's Greenwood. New York did a dub of that. LA's done a dub of that. So, but he was involved in the New York dub of that. Also in 1996, he was cast in Slayers as Zongalus, um, Mr. Rosenberg, or Mr. Rossberg, and Sorcerer Number 1. As we move ahead into 1997, he was cast as Eiji Chinjo in Battle Arena Toshiden. And then in 1998, one of his first roles there was as Mitsuru Suwabuki from Revolutionary Girl Utena. For those, interesting one about, um, some swordplay involved, some psychological drama. Very interesting one for those who may not have seen it. Revolution, supposedly the main character Utena Tenjo is this this girl who's supposed to help bring about revolution. Whatever they never really explained what exactly that was back then, but in that show, what revolution actually was, but what were they revolting against? But you know, um, guys might want to check that out. Then As we come to 1998, of course, he was heavily involved in the Pokemon series. Of course, among the roles that he had included, I think he was one of the voices of James. I think he may have been the first voice of James before Eric Stewart replaced him. I think he was the voice of James. He he was also cast as Tracy Sketchit from who was introduced in the Orange Island arc. Giovanni, the Team Rocket boss. Flint, Brock's dad. Um, Eugene, Mr. Stone, Trickmaster in the Hoenn region. The Yaz gym leader in the Kanto region. Mandy in Kanto, which was of course Mandy was one of Ash's opponents in the the I think in the Pokemon tournament. Andreas in Johto. In Kanto Battle Frontier, he was cast as Carlos. In Sinnoh, he was Daniel. He was also Fiorello Cappuccino in the Kanto region. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go through the. Okay, so in Kanto, aside from the main ones at the very beginning, in Kanto, his Kanto credits include the Yaz gym leader, Mandy, um, Fiorello Cappuccino, Keith. I believe Keith was the one who was far-fetched owner. Pokemon League entrance exam instructor. Potter. That's it for the Kanto credits. And let's see. And then I think he had some Johto. I think his one Johto credit was Andreas. Actually, I'm sorry. In Johto, he was cast as Andreas as well as Gennaro, Koji, and that's it for his Johto credits. Now, as we um, move ahead to, let's see, he was Trickmaster, as I said earlier, in the Hoenn region. And then after the Hoenn region, then there was, of course, in the Sinnoh region, he was Daniel in the Sinnoh region. Then I think, as I recall, I know he. Oh yeah, in the Kanto Battle Frontier, he was Carlos. And then actually, he was also Roman in Sinnoh. In Sinnoh, he's Roman and Daniel. And then finally in Unova, he was Dan's father. So again, basically he was in a lot of the, is like a lot of number of different, but his primary roles, of course, were James at the very beginning, Tracy Sketch, and Giovanni. Those are probably the main roles he had. Then moving ahead to 1999, he was cast as Seiichiro Hirakawa in, I think, the New York dub of Birdie the Mighty. Let me check something here. A couple. He was in the Birdie the Mighty OVA. He was cast as that. And what was the other one that? Oh, here's Green. And yeah, he was in the Central Park Media dub of Here's Greenwood. That was the actual, as Kazuya Hasukawa. As I said, different dub companies. Also, and then that Birdie the Mighty was also in 1999. He reprised his role as Zangulos in Slayer's Next, as well as being cast in the voice role of Rudo Balzac. Now remember, these are all the English dub voice roles of these characters. Okay, so also in 1999, he would, as I said, he would reprise his role as Eto in Record of Lotus War, Chronicles of the Heroic Knight. I believe this was a OVA portion of, you or no, actually this could actually no, they're both. So the first Record of Lotus War was 13 episodes, I believe. Then the last part here was 27. So, and then as we move ahead to 2000, he was cast as the English voice of Harold Katori in the irresponsible Captain Tyler series, both the animated series and the OVA. Very funny series. If you're a big fan of idiot characters with a tremendous amount of luck, then I would highly recommend this this anime. It's a kind of a fun, like, basically it's a classic story of misfit crew put together on basically a just a duty of a ship, yet having success against your against some enemy. So then, as we move ahead to 2001, he was cast as Charles in Cubics. Also, he was involved with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Basically, here in America, the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, basically what we're talking about. Among the roles, of course, were as Yami. He was basically Bakura and Yami Bakura as one of his main roles. He was Bandit Keith, English voice for Bandit Keith, English voice for Gozaburo Kaiba, Seto Kaiba's adopted father. He was one of the guys who voiced Odeon Ishtar. I think there were a couple of guys, I think Michael Austin Bailey voiced him as well, Ishtar, but Ted Lewis had voiced him. Alistair, Croquet, Thief King Bakura, Hobson, and Dr. Richard Goat. So those were the guys who he played in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Then, of course, also in 2001, he was cast as Prince Nyari in Gokudo. Kind of, that's kind of an adventure series. I think 12 or 13 episodes. It's the main character is more of an anti-hero. He's kind of a selfish treasure hunter who basically gets kind of duped into basically you have like three worlds where you have the human world, the magic world, and the demon world all kind of at war with each other, and through the machinations of this basically Prince Nyari's mother or whatever, um kind of settle the whole thing. Then as we move ahead to 2002, um he was cast as the English voice of Shuzo Matsu Tani in Now and Then, Here and There. Also in 2002, in His and Her Circumstances, he was cast as Toshiharu Shibahime. Um, His and Her Circumstances, story of two like honor roll type students who end up falling in love with each other and you know going through all that, especially in Japan where, they kind of frown down on that. They want kids to focus on their studies and be successful and, keep their grades and their test scores high. So, an interesting slice of life one, some, very interesting dynamics to it in terms of, and in terms of some of the post production stuff too. So, I want to check that out. Then also in 2002, he was cast as I guess this is the lead character in this series. He was cast as Hisato Kaiser, Gao Kaiser in Voltage Fighter Gao Kaiser. Then as we move ahead, then also in 2002, he was involved in Kirby Right Back at You, in which he played a number of roles, including King King DDD, King DDD, Escargon's mother, Amon, and Crowman. So that's he was involved in Kirby. Right back at you. Also in 2002 he was cast as Chef Jack, Chef John, and Sir Dumpling in Fighting Foodons. In 2003, he was cast as in Funky Cops as Ringo Cool. Then also in 2003, he was cast in the 2003 version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Clut and Ultimate Ninja. Also in 2003, he was involved in Sonic X as the English voices of Nelson Thorndyke, the President, Yellow Zelkova, and a Citizen. Move ahead to 2004. I believe this was 2004. Let me see. One Piece. He was involved in One Piece in the New York dub of One Piece. I just need to. Oh yeah. So he was involved in 2004. He was involved in the 4Kids dub of One Piece as Mary, Merry, and Dalton. We move ahead here. Also in 2004, he was cast as Teruo Kumai in the Gokusen. Gokusen's another great kind of slice of life anime. It's basically about a Yakuza heiress whose only real desire is to become, a high school teacher and have, a positive impact on her students. Kuma is one of her students. Now, Kuma here, okay, so the word Kuma in Japanese, I believe, means bear. And this guy kind of looks kind of big like a bear, basically. That's why they give, his full name is Teruo Kumai. They call him Kuma. So, Goku-sen, got some great comedy aspects of it in terms of like how this Yakuza heiress is trying to keep her identity because it would be like so she gets hired on at this private like all boys school, and it would be like a major scandal. They found out that one of their teachers was a Yakuza heiress. Now, for those of you who don't know, Yakuza is basically the Japanese version of like the Italian mafioso, okay, or the Chinese triad. Basically, it's the organized crime families of Japan is what the Yakuza is. So imagine one of their daughters teaching your high school kids. Now this is actually a good story though because the reason she wanted to is because she saw how like two of her lieutenants who her family kind of adopted and how they were treated in high school. Um, she saw how like sometimes there were teachers who kind of would look down at their students. She wanted to make a difference in the students' lives, and she was like fully supported by her Yakuza family, her grandfather, and all the and her lieutenants. They were like all her family basically. So it's a very good story, one I would highly recommend you guys check out. Then in 2005, he would also be brought in onto the series and its subsequent sequels. He was cast as Manabu Kuchiki in Genshinken, 2005. Also in 2005, he was cast as Torch in G.I. Joe Sigma 6. He was also brought back to the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise in Yu-Gi-Oh GX in 2005 as Chumley Huffington. Then in Pokemon Chronicles, he would reprise his role as Tracy Sketchit, as well as Giovanni in Pokemon Chronicles. Then in 2006, he was cast as the voice of Isamu um, Amami in The King of Braves Gao Gaigar, which I believe is a mecha anime. And then we move ahead to, oh wait, that was in 2006, so he was in King of Braves. Then we move ahead to 2008. He's Jack Atlas and the imposter Jack Atlas in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. He was cast in that role. Then in 2009, in the second season of Genshin Ken, he would reprise his role as Manabu Kuchiki. Then also in 2009, he was cast in the role of Kokine Shuyu in Iki Tozen Dragon Destiny. Then as we move ahead to 2010, he was cast in the role of Malin in Iron Man Extremis. Then in the Goshiken OVA in 2010, he once again reprised his role as Manabu Kuchiki. And then more recently in 2008, from 2018, he was cast as Arashi in Aria the Animation. So there you go. Those are more or less a lot of the main anime roles that he's and of course in like the Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon franchises, he was also involved in the movies there as well. In the Pokemon movies, reprising his roles oftentimes as Tracy Sketchit, and then in Yu-Gi-Oh in particular, reprising some of the roles there, including Bakura and some of the ones depending upon which movies you're talking about. So with that being said, guys, I just want to once again remind you that well, first off, that I hope that you're finding these VA profiles informative. Whether it's just a matter of just looking back on some of the actors' roles that you guys might like, or learning about maybe some roles that you hadn't seen them in that maybe you might want to go back and check out. Having a better idea of their work. Maybe you might want to go check some of those other, animes out that maybe you hadn't heard of before that they were involved in. And also in that, I want to remind you, as I always do, as I hope, as I do, sometimes on occasion, sometimes more regularly now, is if there's a particular VA that you like, and you want to meet them, then what you got to do is you got to contact your local conventions and in a very polite and respectful manner ask them to invite the guest. There's a lot. Contrary to what they want you to believe, Funimation's not the only. The Funimation voice actors are not the only game in town. A lot of other very pretty well-known voice actors out there that you can check out as well. Ted Lewis, as I said, known for his work on Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. So, if they're VAs that you think about these guys and you see them and hey, I'd love to meet him. Well, what you do is you, in a very polite and respectful manner, contact your local con and let them know, hey, I would love to, I would love to meet this voice actor. And you invite him to your con? And a lot of times they will. A lot of times they will invite them to their con. You and with that, you can check the links below. If you want to contact me directly, you can DM me you can check out my Discord. I'd hope you join. DM me there. Also, if you notice, I'm promoting a bunch of different dub companies. You might want to check those sites out as well. Check out the work that some of those other dub companies have done. check out the works of their voice actors and actresses and all that. And also, as you know, I'm still promoting the GoFundMe's, you know, as well. Vic's GoFundMe and the Ortiz family GoFundMe. Um, as always, guys, you never feel like you have to donate. Um, Nobody wants to see you go bankrupt. I mean, I'm sure they'd appreciate what you can do, but um, not if it costs you that much. Not if it puts you in a more of a bind. Okay, so with that being said, of course, um, um, always remember that if it's on your heart, if you have the means to, it's on your heart to do so. Please consider donating. If you if you've already donated, please consider donating again, because this fight's not over. Remember, Vic is still taking this. He's still going through the appeal, so the support is still needed. But if you cannot, if you don't have the means to, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because you never know. There's always a chance that somebody in your circle of friends might see this, and they might say, "Yeah, this guy is getting kind of the short end of the stick. I want to help out too." You never know. It doesn't hurt to ask. And as always, guys, if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I always look forward to the conversations, as long, of course, as they're civil and respectful. Um, and with that, I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.